Hello, I'm Kimberlie Acosta. Welcome to the weekend edition of the Native News Update. It's Friday, October 14th. Many of the stories you hear here can be found at IndianCountryNews.com. And here's the news for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. A law firm that secured convictions against a former Navajo Nation president has been hired to take over the prosecution of a civil case that accuses dozens of Navajo officials of defrauding the tribal government. The first task for the Rothstein law firm, which has offices in New Mexico and Arizona, will be to review the civil complaint that lists former and current Navajo lawmakers, attorneys general, and the tribe's controller among the 85 defendants. The firm will take over the investigations of a tribal ranch program and look into allegations of illegal and unethical conduct in two business dealings. The law firm succeeds Alan Ballaran, who spent 18 months on the investigations. Criminal charges he filed against almost all of the lawmakers in the previous tribal council were replaced with the civil complaint that cast a wider net. A judicial panel decided against renewing Ballaran's contract, which expired on September 30th. But tribal justice officials said he has agreed to help with the transition of the cases. Navajo Deputy Attorney General Dana Bobroff said her office supports the appointment by a judicial panel responsible for naming special prosecutors. She said those proven to have engaged in wrongdoings will be held accountable, and those who haven't will have a chance to clear their names. The Lumbee tribe in North Carolina are closing enrollment into the tribe for 2 months in preparation for tribal elections. The tribe closed its enrollment books in advance of the November 15th elections that will pick a tribal chairperson and 7 council members. The rolls will reopen 30 days after the election as required by tribal law. The tribe has increased its membership by about 2,000 members since late June, boosting membership to nearly 58,000 members. Next month's elections will see 4 candidates face off to become the tribe's next chairperson. The winner will complete the remaining year of the former chairman, Prunell Sweat's term. For the first time since the advent of the government health care, First Nations in British Columbia, Canada, will be overseeing their own services thanks to a landmark pact signed October 13th. Federal Health Minister Leona Aglukkaq, BC Minister of Health Michael DeJong, and Assembly of First Nations National Chief Sean Atleo, who all attended the signing, are hailing the agreement as a milestone in the relationship between government and Aboriginal peoples. The pact commits the federal government to handing over responsibility for First Nations healthcare planning and delivery in British Columbia to new First Nations Health Authority, work that is currently handled by the Health Canada. Many of the details are still to be worked out over the next 2 years, but the agreement will allow First Nations to determine which services should be delivered by existing provincial health authorities. Byron Joseph, co-chair of the Squamish Nation Council, also praised the agreement and said he looked forward to the First Nations Health Authority putting a new emphasis on the mental health issues, particularly for residential school survivors and their families. The Santee Sioux Tribe celebrated with a groundbreaking on October 13th for their expansion of the Ojai Casino in Nebraska. The new facility will be built a few miles east of the current casino, and when done, the new resort will include a new gaming floor, an entertainment center, 49-room hotel, and an 18-hole championship golf course. The new resort could be done by June of 2012. And casino officials say when it opens, the old facility will close but not be demolished. They plan to repurpose it for other tribal needs. Friends of the Eel River on October 14th issued a call for local residents to watch for and report sightings of Chinook salmon migrating up the Eel River and its tributaries in Northern California. The nonprofit advocacy organization will use Fish Watcher reports to build a more detailed picture of the salmon spawning and migration patterns on the river. The call to report fish sightings comes at a time when the campaign by tribes, environmentalists, and fishermen to restore salmon and steelhead populations on the river is building momentum. On September 10th, the Wyatt Tribe and Friends of the Eel River were joined by Native American tribes from throughout Northern California in a prayer ceremony focused on returning the Eel River and the fisheries it supports to a healthy, sustainable state. The group is asking the public to call or email their main office to report sightings. Reports should note the date and time, specific location, and the number and condition of the fish sighted when calling in. If possible, observers should take note of whether salmon were bright silver or dark, strong or struggling, and whether there is any evidence of or potential for stranding. Friends of the Eel River can be reached at 415-332-9810 or by email at foer@eelriver.org. A 5-year, $2 million grant from the U.S. Department of Education will be used for a number of initiatives to help Native American students at Southeastern Oklahoma State University. The university's enrollment is currently about 29% Native American, and the school's Connect to Complete project will work to increase that number, increase graduation rates, and retain current students. The grant will be used to fund 2 new retention specialists and enhance the Native American collection at the Henry G. Bennett Memorial Library, as well as helping with professional development, mentorship, and office renovations. The Kawacatoose First Nation has been trying to get everything back to normal following the touchdown of a tornado back in July of 2010. That tornado destroyed 18 homes, damaging another 12, and left 82 people homeless. Rebuilding the homes was a priority of the chief and council since the tornado, but they were fighting an uphill battle because the reserve was hit by flooding in late summer of 2010 and again in the spring of this year. However, the rebuilding continues, and today the First Nation is celebrating the opening of 18 new homes. The chief and a council say the work couldn't have been done without the outpouring of support from the community, the First Nations of Saskatchewan, the FSIN, tribal councils, the provincial government, corporations, Indian and Northern affairs, and individuals throughout Saskatchewan. And that's the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and have a grand day.